3, 2, 1. What's going on, everyone? You're watching Ash on Comics. My name is Ash. This is Stan the Man. Should need no introduction. The legend in comics. The reason that we're all here loving comics today. And if this guy's not the reason, then I dare say you may be a modern progressive comic book fan who's really not a comic book fan, but just wants to change the industry. This is Forky. He is the channel mascot. He is kind of near and dear to my heart. He is, he was part of Toy Story 4. A lot of people didn't really like Toy Story 4 for some reason. I do not understand why. That movie was heart-wrenching. It was a great story of friendship and family and heroism. It was everything that a lot of the old school fans, people that kind of, I would say, think the way that I do or kind of agree with me about comic books or whatever, would want comics to be. I know it's cartoony little toys and stuff, and that may not float your boat, but if you look past that and you see the deeper story inside, Toy Story is just a coat of paint. You could have made that same exact story with, real people. You could have done it with, I guess there's not a whole lot of other options. You could have done a cartoon with animals, or, there's lots of different ways you could have approached it. You could have done it different genres, whether it be sci-fi, Western, a modern, just reality kind of take, medieval fantasy. I mean, you could, the paint job is not really relevant. Although I'm kind of fond of the Toy Story paint job. I'm going off in the weeds as I usually do. Today we got a show for you. Oh my God. Not really. It's just me showing off comics. First thing you always show off is your receipts. Look at that, $37. This is a big week for me. I'm supposed to get under 25, but the comic book shop, the girls at the comic book shop really, they did good by me, and you'll see here. I don't have an In-N-Out burger. I got a late start today. I haven't eaten lunch. I needed to get some things done, and so I'm recording this. But rest assured, I am going to get an In-N-Out burger after this. Maybe it'll get on camera. Maybe it won't. I know. Some of you are just like, what? No burger? That's why I come here. Others of you are like, good, thank God. You could stop showing those stupid burgers, you idiot. I found a new comic book store. I'm so excited. My buddy took me up to one of my favorite eateries in San Diego. If you are in San Diego area for whatever reason, up north in Carlsbad, there's a place called Heydrich's Tip Top Meats. It is a German butcher/grocer, but inside they also have like a little cafe, and they will cook any of the meat that they sell. They also have a little line of things. They make sandwiches and so forth. They also make great steaks, great sausages. It's all German. Holy shit. So I got their Oktoberfest, which is a variation of their sausage thing. It's got 3 different sausages. I think it had a knockwurst, a bratwurst, and a Polish, I think. And then it had the best sauerkraut I've probably ever had in my life, the best German potato salad I've ever had in my life, and then some red cabbage. Either you like German food or you don't. If you don't, that's fine. You can also, they have steaks and fantastic burgers. I got this meal though. It was with a beer, with an imported German beer on draft. It was $15. Heydrich's is amazing. The food is tip-top quality, tip-top meats. If you're live in San Diego and you haven't discovered Heydrich's, get off your ass and go up there and learn about them. And if you ever visit San Diego, it's one of those local establishments that the tourists probably don't know about, and you want to stop by. And yeah. So anyways, on our way back, my buddy was like, "Hey, I want to show you this comic book store." And I was like, "Cool. I've heard about this one, but I haven't been. I have my regular one that I go to, and I'm a loyal guy and whatever, and they treat me nice, and I had no reason. But oh my God, the thing, it's called SoCal Comics, and they have a room that is all dollar bin, and it's 3 levels high. And I was in heaven because I talked to my buddy Eric Breen, who's one of the only people that watch my channel. Thanks, Eric. I'm just kidding. And I saw him. I was like, he's always getting super deals, like on comics, like 25-cent issues. And I'm like, we don't got discount bins out here. I have to always buy back issues at cover price minimum. But this place had dollar bins upon dollar bins and great finds in the dollar bins. I didn't spend very long there. I only got to spend like half an hour, so I definitely need to go back. But I found some golden things. I only spent $7. The other thing about their dollar bin was if you buy 12 comics, it's only $10. You get 2 free if you buy 10. And they had a lot of like DC Rebirth. I was thinking, man, I could pick up the entire Tomasi Superman run, which I only have in digital trade because I came in late. And I was like, for $1, it might be worth picking up because I really, really love that run. That's my favorite Superman run. So let's get started. You might say this week's episode is Ash Has Back Issues. Starting on the first issue I picked up, this is with SoCal Comics. It is Hawkman number 5. I'm trying to collect the Jeff Johns run. Thank you, Robert Venditti, and all the Hawkman fans that got me to try out Hawkman, a character that I always thought looked stupid. But then I tried out Venditti. It's the best. I've become a major Hawkman fan now. And Jeff Johns is one of my favorite writers. So I was like, you know what? What else can I pick up from Hawkman? This seemed like the logical choice. It's not an expensive book to pick up. There's no key issues you have to worry about. So I was like, I really enjoy collecting comics. That's part of the fun of the hobby. I don't want to just buy trades. I don't want to just read digital online. One of the joys of comic books is collecting, having your collection, showing off to your friends who may be also collectors, and they can go through and see, and taking pride of what you've built. You know, you curate that collection. Right now I'm kind of miffed because I have to go through and purge some stuff because I got like a bunch of Bendis Superman and crap in there that I got, and it's like, oh, I hate looking through my comics. Your collection doesn't always have to be key valuable issues. There are some collectors who are like that, and when I first started way back in the 80s, I thought I was going to be that way too, and be like, oh, this one's hot comic, and and you speculate. I have zero problem with speculators. That's a fun reason to collect. But for me personally, I enjoy collecting just on a personal level. I just enjoy going, that comic is cool. It may not be worth any money, but I have it in my collection, and I have the entire run. Filling those collections is a fun thing to do. So I already have issues 1 and 2 I was getting from my local comic book store, and I was going to just kind of pick one up every so often and just pick. But I was at the SoCal Comics, and they had the dollar bin, and they had quite a few issues actually. Not so many in the first 12, but so I got issue 5. Then I picked up issue 7, which that's an interesting cover. Then I picked up issue 10, and these are all pretty good condition. Of course, modern comics, that's always the way they are. So I got 10, then I got 11, and that's a sweet-ass cover. I like that one a lot. Then I got 12, and this is Jeff Johns, Rags Morales. If you're a person, if you're like, man, comics just aren't interesting today. I mean, back issues, Breen and other people, they kind of have it right when they talk about, back issues are kind of the way. Yes and no. I mean, I'm still I really like having new issues. I think moving forward is important, being able to talk about what's currently going on. But for $1, not $4, $1, you can get a Jeff Johns, Rags Morales, Hawkman book, and you can go, you don't have to, you can either pick them up in bulk and binge them, or you can just go to the comic book store every week and pick up a couple dollar books. You don't have to spend a ton of money in comics. And I'm stoked that I actually I found this out now. I also picked up this book because I thought it had a sweet ass cover. And I looked at I was like, Jeff Loeb did a Hawkman book? Holy shit! No, it's is it Mess? I don't know, someone Loeb, so I forget his name. So I was like, oh well, it doesn't matter. The cover looks cool. It's issue 0. It'll be cool. It's $1 being in your collection. And then I don't like this writer. But it's sort of a key issue in the fact that it's a number 1. It's not worth anything because obviously it's in the dollar bin, but it was good condition, and I was like, oh sure, I'll get this Hawkman number 1 just to have a Hawkman, collect all the Hawkman number 1s even if I don't care about that particular run. So there you go. That was $7 spent at SoCal Comics in San Diego, and I got quite $7. That's the price. That's less than Wolverine number 1 is going to be. Just think about that. Wolverine number 1 will cost more than all these books, and I guarantee you this is better. Then my boy Wes over at Thinking Critical, he got me really excited. I am a huge fan of Blade Runner 2049. I love that movie. I think that movie probably deserved to win Best Picture. It's easily one of the best movies I've seen in ages. It's fantastic. It's better than the original. It's you could call it a masterpiece of filmmaking. Everything about that film is top notch. It pays perfect homage and continuity to the original. It respects everything that the original tried to do, even down to the pacing of how Denny Villeneuve, I really have a hard time pronouncing his name. By the way, every film that guy does is phenomenal. So he's the guy that did Arrival, and then he did Sicario, and he's doing the new Dune movie. God, I can't wait for the new Dune movie. Anyways, so I loved that movie, and I was like, holy shit, that's awesome. And then this comic came out, Blade Runner 2049, or sorry, 2019. And it's by Titan Comics, and I looked at it, and I was like, whatever, it's some cheesy I don't like tie-in comics. Like, just because a movie's awesome doesn't mean some third-rate writer at some super small indie publisher is going to be able to write anything near close. I stay away. And then Wes at Thinking Critical, who I sometimes, get to guest on his show with the Comics Aficionados, or once in a while we do a little video. He's been jonesing on this book. He's like, it's fantastic, Ash, you should check it out. It's, I think it'd be right up your alley. It's one of the best books I'm reading. I'm loving it. It's not getting enough attention. And I was like, well, that's cool. Maybe I'll check it out later in trade. And then I don't remember who it was, but I was talking about the reason why I didn't pick up the book, which I just explained to you guys. And someone's like, it's written by the dude who wrote the movie, right? He's Michael Green. And I was like, what? I was like, so it's the same screenwriter who wrote the Blade Runner movie and also was involved in the original movie too. And I was like, oh, so I could actually treat this as like official canon. So these are super hard to find in my area. So the nice staff at my comic book store, I said, hey, can you find issues 1 through 4? Because I don't really want to get the trade, and I picked these up, and if I can get them not too expensive. So they found issues 2. This is really cool. Sid Mead cover. I wish I could get all these in Sid Mead covers. He's one of my favorite artists. He doesn't really do comic books. He's he's one of those artists, I forget what you call them, where they're like, they interpret the future and they try to represent it in art. They try to speculate what the future is going to be. There's a term for it. Someone, if you guys know in the audience, you can put it in the comments. This one is, I was just taking the covers. This is the A cover. Man, it'd be nice if all Sid Mead covers, but that one's okay. It's evocative of the Blade Runner. So I got issues 2, issues 3, and then another Sid Mead cover. Oh man, you know what? Now I got 2 Sid Mead covers. I feel like I'm gonna have to get all Sid Mead covers because, I didn't even realize. So issues 2, 3, and 4, and then 5 was still on the shelf, so that was easy. And they're still looking for an issue number 1 for me. That's gonna be tough because it has a super small print run. Even books that aren't mega popular, if it just has a slight popularity to it at all, if you want to try to go back and pick them up later, they can be hard to find. They're scarce because how many comics do you think Blade Runner makes? Like 10, it's got to be less than 20,000, right? 10,000 units of the whole country, the whole world. Ugh. So that's all back issues that I've gotten. It's more than my new issues. Breen, you should be proud of me. Now let's get on with the new issues. Let's pull these off. This is getting too thick. That's what she said. Bada ding! Right, Stan? Stan knows what I'm talking about. All right. Stan's probably had lots of ladies. You got to imagine in his lifetime. No, he loved his wife. Birthrate, issue 41. Joshua Williamson. Look at that cover. Look at how metal this cover is. I'll try to get that up to the camera. Look at this. I am telling you guys, the best comics right now are indies. Image Comics does produce its fair share of crap. No doubt about it. But some of the best comics out there. And this book has pretty solid art. Bresnan. And that guy, Williamson, that's Joshua Williamson. You may know him from Flash. He's been writing the consistently best ongoing series at DC. He also writes Batman, Superman, and he's going places. That guy knows how to write comics. And Birthright is his own IP. It's his own thing. And let me just tell you, I did an episode back in the day with Sergeant Bats when we had the Ash and Bats show. If you're brave enough and you want to go back and watch every episode, we did a trade where we would like go back and forth, and he would recommend a trade, I would recommend a trade, and we had this little book club thing, and we would read it, and then the following week we would discuss it, and readers could, also read it and, join in with us. And Birthright was something I suggested because I always just liked the name, the cover, the concept. I didn't know a whole lot about Williamson. I'm telling you, I read that trade. We talked about it. It's kind of a spoiler, so if you don't want to be spoiled, maybe don't watch that. But suffice it to say, we did 10 episodes. We did various trades and stuff. This was the only one that I went back and bought every single issue of the comic because I wanted to collect it that much. Find, if you can, borrow it. Don't steal it. I was about to make borrow steal. But read the first trade of Birthright. And if you're not hooked, hey, no harm, no foul. Go out in your day. But Wes, if you're listening, I know you like fantasy stuff. You need to read the first trade of Birthright. And then go from there. Then there's Usagi Yojimbo, which has been one of the best comics on the shelf for 35 years plus, ongoing. This is a book that constantly gets overlooked by people, including me back in the early days, because you look at that cover and you go, oh, look, it's a cartoon rabbit. Oh, he's got a sword, and there's like ninjas. And back in the 80s, he just like, oh, everyone was doing it because Turtles came out, and so everyone was trying to make some cartoony animal with ninjas or sword, and it just looked like knockoffs. And Usagi Yojimbo's got a weird name if you're not, some weird sort of, Japanese manga weeb. You're just like, what the hell? Why would I care? Usagi Color Classics just came out last week, and if you don't know Usagi, that is the perfect pick. That book up and read it and start to understand why. I've done some videos on Usagi. It is a phenomenal book. You will love reading it. It is not a book that's for kids. However, it's a book suitable for kids. It's one of those things, that material, much like Star Wars, where it's a movie that's not written down to be dumb to kids. You can watch Star Wars now. I do at age 46, and it doesn't feel dumbed down. It doesn't feel patronizing or condescending or anything. It's an intelligent film. However, the subject matter, the way the story is told, everything, it's all appropriate for kids, at least of a certain age. I mean, I'm not going to say let your 5-year-old watch it, but I watched it when I was 3 or 4. I saw it in theaters. It's my earliest childhood memory. So I turned into a crazy person because I saw it, but you get what I'm saying. My point is that Usagi Yojimbo is one of those things. I don't want to say it's a kid's thing because I don't want to steer you away and be like, I don't want it. It's not. But you can if you do have kids, or you have nieces or nephews, or you have friends that have kids, whatever. You want to share it with youth and children. They can enjoy it, and you don't have to feel like you're reading anything childish either. It's just phenomenal. Then let's start off with Marvel. Daredevil. This is the best book at Marvel, hands down. Prove me wrong, as the Crowder always says. Daredevil is the best book in Marvel. Prove me wrong. Now the only bad thing is the artist keep pulling off the main artist, Checheco, Mark Checheco. He's not the best thing. I mean, Zdarsky's writing the hell out of this story, and it's the best Daredevil I've read since the Frank Miller days. Some people have said it's better than Frank Miller's run, and I think they're high, but that's still high praise. Like it's good, and he writes a very mature story. This is definitely a book that adults can get into. It's not comic booky. It feels the tone of it feels very much like the Netflix series. And if you're like, I didn't really like the Netflix series, don't let that steer you away. This is better than the Netflix series. I'm just saying the tone, it's not like there's not like sex in the book, but yeah, actually there's sex in the book. Never mind. It's not. It's PG-13 sex. It's not the Netflix. It's a really good story, and if you like Daredevil, Zdarsky is treating the characters with reverence, and that's what he does. one of the best comics of 2019 was his Spider-Man life story, and it worked so well because it was a great story, but B, the guy obviously did his homework and had reverence for Spider-Man throughout every era and put it on the page. And he does here with Daredevil too. It's on the page. It'll make you, if you like Daredevil, you're gonna like this book. And if you don't like Daredevil, this book might sell you on it. And that's all I got from Marvel, because Marvel doesn't have very many good books. So they constantly get trounced by DC, in my opinion, for quality. And speaking of quality, James Tynion is the new king. No, I say that to play on words because Tom King's gone. I still think Tomasi's doing a better job, but that's not a slight against James Tynion. He's definitely coming on strong. This is a fun Batman book. Some people have criticized the book, saying, it feels like stuff that we've seen before. Well, when you have 80 years of comics, and not just one. I mean, Batman's had multiple comics over 80 years. It's really hard to, on a bi-weekly basis, come up with something new that you haven't seen and still stay true to the character and not have fans rebel against you and be like, screw this book, this isn't my Batman, right? Because Tom King tried to do something new that we haven't seen before, and it sucked. James Tynion is doing the right thing, I think, and just saying, let me make a basic Batman story that's fun. It's not going to piss off the fans. It's going to treat the character right. You're not going to feel ripped off for your $3.99. You're going to enjoy getting this book. And hopefully he's going to use that as a platform to build and give us some bigger things. I think James Tynion is going places. And also I think writing ongoing comics is super hard. So I'm a little bit more forgiving. I don't need every ongoing comic to be, Dark Knight Returns or whatever your favorite comic is. But speaking of miniseries, this is one of the most overlooked books on the shelves, Martian Manhunter, by Steve Orlando, Riley Rossmo. I know a lot of people overlook this book. They look at the art and they go, oh my God, that's horrendous. And I understand. It's not aesthetically pleasing. I will defend Rossmo, though, that his art is good. He is a talented artist in his own right. He may not be suited for the traditional style comic book art that fans want to see, but I do think it works for Martian Manhunter. I mean, look at this cover. Some of you might go, yeah, look at this cover, Ash. It looks terrible. I think it looks pretty wicked for what Martian Manhunter is. For his biology. He's not a mammalian primate with an endoskeleton like humans are. He's this weird amoeba kind of space alien, and the way Rossmo is able to capture that is in a way that I haven't seen any other artist do. They just draw a Martian Manhunter like a dude with green skin. I really like how Rossmo makes this guy feel alien, and the villain that you see here on the cover, it's wicked. I think it fits the story. I think it fits the character. I wouldn't want to see this forever ongoing, but Orlando, he's not the A-list writer over at DC like many of the others, but he's a solid talent. That's my phone. God, I turned it on silent and it's not working. I'm trying to get through this. Martian Manhunter is... I'll do a final review on this book, I'm sure. This was a solid book, though. The writing on this, it's a good detective story. So if you like that sort of Batman-esque detective story, this has it, but with Martian Manhunter instead. If you like the origin of Martian Manhunter, you're like, then this is going to give it to you. It's kind of a Martian Manhunter year one. And you go, well, I already know his origin. Well, I guarantee you there's stuff in this book that you don't know, that Rossmo's added to the whole Mars side before he even came to Earth, that I found fascinating. And issue 6 was a heart-wrenching book. So that's all I'm going to say on this. This might be something you want to check out if you haven't been following it, get it later in the trade for cheap or what have you. I think it's an overlooked book. And then last, but certainly not least, is Justice League 40. Robert Venditti, Doug Mahnke, Well, that's why Monkey's not doing Detective Comics, because they had to pull him to do Justice League. That kind of sucks. I hate when they have to move stuff around and other books have to suffer, but Scott Snyder was doing a great book that I liked. I think he was a really good fit for Justice League. Some people were like, Snyder's too out there all over the place. Like, I think that's what makes Snyder great. And I think Justice League is the type of book to have the crazy cosmic stuff, to have the most outlandish superhero stories. And you don't do that in the pages of Batman, which is a street level character. I'm not knocking his Batman running, by the way. I'm just using it as an example. Justice League, I liked it. He's the guy that sold me to be a. Did two shits of interest on Justice League, but I tried it out, and I was very pleased. I could not be happier for anyone to take over Snyder than Robert Venditti, who's one of the most overlooked talents at DC. This is he's a guy. I mean, he was doing the Hal Jordan Green Lantern Corps. Oh, there's the doggy doors. Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps, was criminally canceled so that we could give Morrison whatever he wants. But I guess Morrison gets what Morrison wants. At least it wasn't canceled for Bendis, but it kind of was. So here's the books this week. Tell me what you think is going to be the best, what you think is going to be the worst. There's really no bad books to pick. This is like, yikes. Wow, this one's too tough to call for me. I'm very excited about Justice League. Tell me if you're excited about Justice League. If you haven't been getting Justice League, this is probably a perfect time, right? New writer, it's Robert Venditti. You're like, I never read Hawkman. I didn't read the Justice League because I didn't like Scott. Well, here you go. There the books. I appreciate you watching. Let's go now and get a burger. Maybe I'll append that to the video. Maybe I won't. You'll find out. Buy back issues. Support your local comic book store. You can find great deals, cheap books. Buy good comics, right? There's a lot of trash. You're going to hear me trash on comics all day long. Well, not all day long, but you know what I'm saying. I'm going to trash comics, but understand it's because I love this industry. I love the hobby. I love the medium. And I want it to be as good as it can be. And it's currently not. But even though it's currently not, there's still a lot of diamonds in the rough to find. I can't even buy all the books that I want, so that's a really good thing. I know every week I go to the store and I have to just rein it in. I'm trying to keep it under $25. I splurged this week because of the back issues, but my new issues would have been well under budget, so that's good. I can't wait to read Blade Runner. Thank you, Wes, for recommending it to me. I'm hoping it's every bit as good as he likes. You guys tell me what you're liking down below. There's probably books I'm not reading that I'm missing out on. Tell me if there's any books that you've picked up. I know Eric has picked up Thor, and he picked up Batman, Superman. Those are both worthy choices, and that's important for this hobby, to spread word of mouth and your enthusiasm, and get those books that are doing things right the attention that they deserve, so that we fans can support those books. We can ignore all the trash, you know. You can make videos about the trash if you want, but support the good books, because just because some suit at Marvel or DC doesn't give a shit about your hobby doesn't mean that these people working on the books don't give a shit. I guarantee you Josh Williamson gives a shit. Stan Sakai gives a shit. Zdarsky's kind of a weirdo, but he's writing good comics. Tynan gives a shit. Orlando. Vendetti for sure gives a shit. And then, you know, our boy Stan over there in the corner. Stan gave a shit, right? So, thank you for watching, putting up with my long-ass video about here's the comics I bought. Hopefully, just sitting here having a chit-chat, you were able to, you know, get through your day at work, washing the dishes, relieving yourself on the porcelain throne. Whatever it is you do when you watch my videos, that's between you and your device. I don't want to hear it. All right, all you burger lovers, here I am at In-N-Out Burger. Of course, I couldn't miss a Wednesday In-N-Out Burger. I've been trying to eat a little bit healthier, so today I'm doing my famous, I call it the double meat triple mustard. It's got mustard on top and bottom of the bun, and it's fried in mustard. Today I put extra lettuce and tomato on it. Pickles are great. This is a fantastic burger. It's not just better for you, but it actually does taste phenomenal. I'm going to scarf this down, sitting in my car, Zach style, but I don't got any comics to review for you. Here's the interior. Yep, I drive a Mini. I don't know why I put the blanket over the whole thing last time. You really just need to cover your legs. I got this thing for my dog. It works really well, so I don't spill burger all over me, because I'm a pretty messy eater. There it is. Doesn't it look freaking fantastic? Look at this. Oh, man. Just like the picture. That's the way it comes out. That was $3.91 after California's ridiculous state tax. So if you don't have In-N-Out, I feel bad for you. Tell me where you do eat, though. If you don't have In-N-Out, tell me what special places are in your town that are awesome. And thanks for watching my videos. Thanks for putting up with my burgers and all my nonsense. And I will see you next time.